Hey guys, it's SJ and I'm back with Baby Name Monday with a big spring in my step. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. This video is baby names. That's what I love, that's what I do. I'm a baby name consultant and a baby name correspondent for the BBC. If you have your own baby name dilemma and you want a specific list for you, you can find that on Baby Name Envy the podcast or over on our Instagram. And this list is all about Wanderlust names, basically for parents who love to travel or you just want to bring that sort of free, liberated, outdoorsy nature to your baby name. I think it's really nice to pick a name that really kind of bestows on them a kind of a feeling that you have or a kind of ambition for them, and who doesn't want their child to be adventurous and curious about the world around them. So I absolutely love these names. They're all pretty much unranked, so I definitely go off the A to Z when I'm finding them. I think the most popular one is about 13 boys are called it, so they're really rare, but I hope you find something that you love, and if you do, please give this a little thumbs up, and that really helps me out, and add to this list in the comment section below if you have a name idea you think would be perfect for it, and help all the mums out who are watching. So the first name is the name Travers. So not Travis, it's Travers. So I actually really love it because it's got kind of Travis vibes, it's got kind of Trevor vibes if you're honouring a Trevor, but I love Travers. It's just really, really gorgeous with that V in it, and it means crossroads. So it's also quite a cool occupational name. So like occupational names like Harper was an occupational name for somebody who played the harp, and Travers was an Old English and French occupational name for somebody who basically would collect the toll as somebody went over a bridge or went onto a crossroads. And as parents, crossroads, you know, we're at a massive crossroads in your life when you're bringing a baby into the world, and it's a lovely, gorgeous name that I think really, really works. So next is the only popular one that I have on this list, and it's the name Shelby. I love it, from the old movie, Julia Roberts movie, and I know it's on a lot of people's lists, but it's not getting used so much. So there were 82 baby girls called Shelby last year, which ranks it at about 458, which is a real good spot for girls, but for boys there were also Shelbys. There were 13 boys named Shelby, so all of these I think are like gender neutral names. I absolutely love it. It actually means place where the willows grow. Isn't that lush? So even if you have a willow and a Shelby, it's a beautiful kind of sister combo or sister brother combo. I love even the fact for me that it's like two nature sounds, like shell taking you to the coast and bee taking you into like the garden. So I think that that's really cool, and it's an Old Norse surname. That's where it sort of started from where the willows grow, and those surnames were always kind of location based, so where you would find the tribe, and that would be where the willows grow. And I just think it's such a romantic name meaning. How about the name Axis? I think if you chose this, you would get so many compliments. There's Axel is one of the fastest rising boy names of last year, but no one's using Axis, and I kind of feel like it's an evolution of Atlas, which has become really popular. Axis is so trendy. I love names that end in S, and axis is an imaginary object actually around which something spins. So we often talk about the world spinning on its axis, and I just think it is perfect for a baby name for that reason, because your world spins around your baby, and I just think it's such a beautiful name. Totally unranked, no one's using it. I feel like I've kind of come up with it a few weeks ago and just fell in love with it. What do you reckon? Very similar, they're kind of a pair, if you're not sold on Axis but you love the meaning, is the name Meridian. So Meridian is again the semicircle around the earth, taking you from the North Pole to the South Pole, so that's the Meridian, and I just think it works so beautifully as a name because it sounds like a name, doesn't it? Anything that ends in that N, it sounds very, very complete. I don't know, I feel like it's totally gender neutral. I do like the fact that for a girl she could be Mary because I always love that, but Meridian, I just think it's such a quirky choice, even for a middle spot for a traditional first name. It's something that really says something about you and how much you love to travel and bringing the earth, literally Mother Earth, into your baby name. A beautiful meaning, the name Sommeled. So this is a Scandinavian name, so they have summer with the O, and it actually translates as summer sailors. So it takes you right into the Swedish archipelago or out onto a boat, and I just think it's such a gorgeous name. I love Somerset for a boy, I've talked about before. Obviously summer's such a well-worn girl name, and season names are really popular, calendar names are really popular, but I think Sommeled is just slightly different, isn't it, with the Scandi beginning, and it's just a trendy choice for somebody who really wants wants to bring in this kind of escapism and the summer sailors into their baby name. Would have actually been perfect for me and my husband because his granddad was a Swedish sailor. Didn't think of it at the time. A name meaning adventurous traveller is the name Kimonee. So it is spelled with the Y, but it is pronounced like an E, it's like Kimonee, and sometimes it even has a hyphen, so KY-MANI, so you can do it with or without the hyphen. It's actually the name of Bob Marley's son, he's Kimonee, so it's a really gorgeous name. I love the fact that it means adventurous traveller. I think it works, even though it is traditionally a boy name, I think it really, really works for a girl as well. I was kind of thinking it was like Kimonee, which I kind of like with the open R sound, and I do think with names you can pronounce how you like, especially when they're a little bit rare. But Kimonee is a really beautiful name. I love the spirit adventurous traveller. If you're into the idea of Journey being a name, there's quite a lot of children called Journey, but actually there were only 9 boys named Ferdinand last year, and Ferdinand literally translates as journey. So if you're not bold enough or you don't like the idea of just using a word as a name, Ferdinand I think is super cute. Obviously you do think of Ferdinand the Bull a little bit, which I don't think is a bad thing. There are lots of names like that that are getting out there, and I think it's a really trendy and underused name beginning with F. I have 2 boys named Freddie and Finn. I love F names for boys, and I think Ferdinand's a really gorgeous one. Can't believe there were only 9 girls called Wonder last year. Wonder, it's such a retro 70s name to me. Like, it really brings up the 70s and flares and things like that. I just think it's got that kind of hippie vibe to it, Wonder. What I love about it is the name translates as shepherdess. So it does mean wanderer, but right back it means shepherdess, which I think is really cool. I love the name Shepherd. Shepherd and Wonder. That would be such a cool pair as well. I love Shep as a nickname. I haven't put Shepherd on here, but I love Wonder so much. 9 girls. Honestly, you were finding a really rare gem with Wonder. A super interesting one is the name Emin. So I've come across this name looking into travel and researching Wanderlust types of names, and Emin came up as meaning wanderer again, but it also comes up as meaning truth, and I really, really like that. I'm a mad fan of modern virtue names, and Emin just can't believe it's not being used. There were 7 boys named Emin in the whole of England last year, so that's crazy. And obviously I think of the artist Tracy Emin as well, so it's got a kind of art vibe, it's got a kind of Wanderlust vibe, it's got a kind of modern virtue vibe with true, and I think it just works so nicely. I really played around with Emil as a name when I was having a baby, but I actually prefer Emin because it sort of ends a little bit more, doesn't it? It's a bit more of a complete name, and again, super rare, and I think works for boys or girls. Peregrine is a lush one. I have talked about it before. I did a list on wild animal names and the peregrine falcon, but peregrine comes from pilgrim, so it kind of means a foreign land or a foreign person, and I just think it's such a trendy name. Some people see it as quite upper class, peregrine. It was kind of like that vibe, but I think it totally works for anyone. I think especially because it's got the nature bird link as well, and I love Perry as a nickname for boy or girl. Perry actually means pear tree, which I love. It'd be good for a Christmas baby with a partridge in a pear tree. I should have thought that for my daughter, Peregrine with Perry, but I just think it is gorgeous name, and if you particularly have travelled a lot, I think it really brings your spirit into it as well, with it meaning foreign traveller. Trip is an interesting one, isn't it? It's quite playful, like a bit like a skipper or something like that, Trip, but with the double P being the name. It's totally unranked at the moment. It means obviously to go on a trip, but it also comes up sometimes as meaning dancer. So I thought that was really nice. It's got that kind of dancey, playful name, and playful names are so lovely. They're so on trend, just to be a bit more playful, a bit more light-hearted, a bit more fun. And I think it does work for a baby. I think it does work for a teen. I think it does work for a grown-up as well, Trip. It's interesting. It might be preferring that Trip as a nickname for Travers. Maybe that's a better combo. Maybe Trip by itself. I know going on a trip means something else as well, but I'm not thinking about that. I'm just loving it as a name, loving it as a 1-syllable, middle spot, fun, quirky, playful, and that's what this whole list should kind of be about. The next name has one of the most beautiful meanings I've heard in so long. It's the name Azra. Azra, so you say the open R like you would aria, which became so popular a few years ago, but Azra hasn't come in just yet, and it's got that pretty S in it as well. There were 9 girls named Azra last year, and it's an Arabic name meaning to travel at night. And I think that that's something romantic about that, isn't there? Thinking about the evening, especially if you have a nighttime baby. Babies seem to really be born overnight. We would labour at some point during the nighttime hours, which is quite beautiful. Azra, so lovely, such a trendy alternative to Aria. If that's been on your list for a while and it's been pinched, Azra could be where you go with it. How about, this is a bit of a wild card, I like to chuck in a bit of a daring name, but I started to think about the name Compass. Compass, it kind of is trendy. I was thinking about Atlas a few years ago. I was like, oh my gosh, that seemed like such a rare and out there name. But I feel like parents who love Atlas might also love the name Compass. It just looks so pretty written down with the double S sound. It sounds like a word that could be a name. Are you on board with me? Have I totally lost you? So then I was looking, so Compass actually came from the word for circle. So that's quite nice as well. It's got that kind of curvy shape to bring it to life a little bit. If you have a bit of synesthesia and you can kind of feel names in a different way, it's that kind of completeness in that compass. I really think of the golden compass as well, kind of nautical vibes, a real history with it. There's something antique about it to me, and I just think it's really beautiful. I really love it for a little girl called Compass. Maybe a pet name. If I can't sell it for your daughter or your son, maybe a good pet called Compass would be quite cute. How about the name Easton? It's a really interesting one. It's not getting much use at the moment. It's 14 boys were called Easton last year, but there's a website called Nameberry that look at how many people vote to like a name, and there it's going up as at number 77 on the popularity charts. So isn't that good to know that it's really popular, but maybe people aren't using it just yet? It's got a bit of surname as first name vibe, but it actually means a place facing to the east, or a town in the east, like East Town. And I just think it sounds really strong and cool for a girl or a boy. And I think with so much inspiration coming from the East, as we talk about it in the UK, you know, very spiritual, going back to those kind of cultures to really, now that's at the forefront of trends. I think it's a really beautiful one for anyone who's into those kind of traditions. So Easton, really interesting one. I'm really happy that I've got it on this list. I reckon a few of you might list it. The name Pixis. How cool is that? Again, I love the name Pixie, but Pixis coming up on a list like this, just so rare, totally unranked. I love it. And it's actually the name for a mariner's compass in Latin, was a Pixis. So I'm really on my theme of compasses, but the mariner's compass, Pixis, it just works so good as a name. I absolutely love it. I'm thrilled with this name. It's also a small constellation in the sky, and it's the one that's like a zigzag. So if you're into that sort of look as well, the zigzags or a chevron, Pixis. Isn't it cool? Isn't it different? It's totally unranked. You'd have such a beautiful name if you went with Pixis. And my last one is the name Razeless. Razeless, so it's a really interesting one as well, and I came across it when I was looking at Pixis. I just loved it. I loved the sound of it so much. Razeless, I just think it would really appeal to people who like things like Maximus and those sort of strong, powerful names, which I'm all about. I'm all here for those. It's a cosmic name as well. It means the northern star of the lion's head, Razimus. So I can really see that being a really cool name, with Raz as a little nickname. It's a cool, strong, very, very modern sounding name with a really trendy meaning that I really hope will appeal to anyone who's really into this kind of wanderlust, getting out there, big adventures, grasping life with both arms, all that stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to this list. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found some rare and fun, unusual names to add potentially to your name list. Let me know any more you would add to this in the comment section below. Let me know any more themes that you would like. I'll be back very, very soon. We have some whimsical, romantic names coming up for both boy and girl, which I'm obsessed with. And then we have some midsummer, because it is coming up to the Swedish midsummer solstice, names coming up as well. So do hit subscribe so you don't miss any of those. Share this with a pregnant friend, and as I said, if you are looking to become, I didn't say this, if you're looking to become a baby name consultant, you can join the consultancy Baby Name Envy on the Peanut app. It is wide open. There's 3,000 people there working as baby name consultants into baby name envies. You can ask a question or you can give baby name advice, because I know it is just so much fun and I want to involve as many of you as I can. So that is over on the Peanut app. You have to download the app, which is free, find the group Baby Name Envy, which is free, and there's also extra content there from me as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will see you next week. Bye guys.